All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, Gervonta Davis responds to Claressa Shields and her ploy to rage bait Gervonta Davis into doing what she wants him to do relative to Shakur Stevenson. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we are going to be in the 135, 40-pound division, where Gervonta Davis is obviously the most popular fighter, obviously the fighter that fans have the most intrigue as to what he's going to do next. But there's another guy in that division that many people think is the best fighter in the division, and that is Shakur Stevenson. Well, on an interview, the only person that I can remember that was on the interview with Claressa Shields was the guys from $1 Million Worth of Game, Wallow and Gilly the Kid, were asking questions of Claressa Shields, and Claressa Shields started talking about Gervonta Davis and how Gervonta Davis should not retire. He should fight Shakur Stevenson because Shakur Stevenson had been disrespecting him. And if Shakur disrespects him and Keyshawn disrespects him and these other people are disrespecting him, that means that Gervonta Davis has to do, he has to do what they want him to do. He has to turn around and fight him. So no, he can't. He can't retire, and then turns around and calls him a bad man and says that, pretty much the only people that can beat him is Shakur Stevenson. And I don't know who else he said. He said she thought that at a point in time that Devin Haney could beat him, but now she doesn't believe that. But so really the only fight that there is for Gervonta Davis is Shakur. What a mighty, mighty convenient argument. And Gervonta Davis responded. And basically his response was, come on, girl, stop talking about me so much because you're making me feel like I'm special. Right? So he pretty much just, kind of blows it off. But I really think that there's something much deeper going on here. And it is that and I said it again, I said it in another video, I'll say it in this one, the Bud Buddies. The Bud Buddies are a crew of boxers that all hang around and worship Terrence Bud Crawford. And the main two members of it, besides the people that are actually in Terrence Crawford's camp, as fighters are Shakur Stevenson and Claressa Shields, without a doubt. Claressa Shields is a huge backer of Terrence and a huge backer of Shakur Stevenson. At the end of the day, the only thing she really cares about is what's in the best interest of Shakur Stevenson. And anything and everything she say is angled that way to get Gervonta Davis to do something that Shakur Stevenson wants him to do, which is really do all the hard work and then be there for Shakur Stevenson to become a star at the end of it. I'm telling you, man, I believe that to the bottom of my soul, that is the same plan that Terrence Crawford ran on Errol Spence Jr. Quite honestly, it was convenient that he ran it, that it wound up happening with Canelo Alvarez as well. But that's the Terrence Crawford mode. Terrence Crawford is very, very calculated in the timing of the fights that he takes, the situations that he puts himself in. And Shakur Stevenson is trying to do the same thing. Take, for example, the fact that Shakur Stevenson is trying to get a fight with Teofimo Lopez next. And in this fight with Teofimo Lopez, he is promoting it as him being the man at 140 pounds because he's going to beat the lineal champion and beat the ring champion. That makes him the man at 140. No No, it does not. There are several other champions in that division that lay a claim to being the best fighter at 140. Shakur Stevenson can't just jump up to 140, fight a guy that really hasn't looked good at 140 the entire time he's been there, and claim that he is the man in that division because he did it. No. If he gets it, if he's fortunate enough to get the fight with Teofimo Lopez, you still have Subriel Matias there, who is, I do believe, the WBA champion. You have Gary Antoine Russell, who is the WBC champion, and you have Richardson Hitchens, who is the IBF champion, and you also have guys in that division who could very well still be champions, depending on, which way you really think the fight went, and guys like Subriel Matias, Alberto Puello, that's in that weight class as well. You also got very good fighters in that weight division like Jermaine Ortiz that people are not necessarily lining up to fight. So, no, Shakur Stevenson got to do what Errol Spence Jr. did and what they're asking Gervonta Davis to do. Go through and beat every single solitary one of the top guys in the 140-pound division. Prove that you're the man in the 140-pound division. And then if Gervonta wants to fight you at 140 pounds, then fight Gervonta Davis at 140 pounds after Shakur Stevenson does all the heavy lifting for the belts. Because the fact of the matter is Gervonta Davis already did all the heavy lifting for the other things that matter, which is the interest in the fight and the ticket sales for the fight. The pay-per-view sales, the ticket sales, the interest in the fight is coming from the actions that of Gervonta Davis that resulted in his popularity. So Shakur should do his part of the job, knock off the other guys, and then have Gervonta come up when Shakur's all tired. Shakur fights 12 rounds with Gary Antoine Russell, fights 12 rounds with Richardson Hitchens, fights a bunch of rounds with Subriel Matias. Let him get punched up, beat up, all of that. And then let him jump in there and go fight Gervonta Davis. But that's not what Shakur wants to do. Shakur Stevenson and those guys think they're slick. They're going to try to make the easiest matchups for the biggest names, meanwhile claiming that they're going for legacy when ultimately what they're trying to do is just play the name game. Look at the people that Terrence Crawford fought at 140 pounds while Errol Spence Jr. was fighting the champions. He was fighting a bunch of leftovers and guys and no hopers. And Errol Spence Jr. is actually out there having wars. That is not accidental. That is not something that people do not realize took place. And it is definitely something that people want to push forward onto Gervonta. But Gervonta, unfortunately for them, isn't going to take the bait. Gervonta's not moving up to 140 pounds to fight 140, 147 pounds to fight your gorillas for you so that you can then come back after everything is done and talk about how smart you are and how much better it is to work smarter and not harder. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. I'm 100% with Gervonta Davis on that. I would love to see Gervonta fight Shakur next. Don't get me wrong. I would love for that fight to take place. I don't think it's taking place next. And more than likely, Shakur is going to try to name bounce off of it for a while. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.